Well, today's the 4th of July, and I'm in New England, which is quite a change in temperatures from before when I was back in Eleuthera. Today, it's presently 61 degrees. When I left Eleuthera the other day, at 5 o'clock, it had cooled down to 84. I don't know how many times it even gets to 84 here, but it makes for a fun summer that is very pleasant. You hardly ever need air conditioning or not a lot of sweating, or at least to me, being used to a warmer climate. Little difference in the driving scenery too. Just went by two policemen and automatically checked my how fast I was going. Whereas in Eleuthera, I don't think I can't remember seeing anybody who ever gets stopped. The police rarely stop anybody because it's just not one of those things. Everybody knows everybody, and if you gave somebody a ticket, there'd probably be repercussions because he's your cousin or your aunt or some relative, and then the policeman would have to hear about it. So I've never even heard of getting tickets in Eleuthera. Fourth of July shopping. Going to the grocery store here is a whole different treat. Going to the grocery store here is totally different, of course, and somewhat overwhelming. There's so many choices. After you've been in Eleuthera, you go to the grocery store and hope you find what you're looking for if you go on the right day. The boats come in, the store's ordered what you needed. But here, you can go any day of the week for anything that you want, and more than likely, you're going to find it. So when I get back here, I have to somewhat control myself and say, no, I'm not going to get that. I'm only here for a short time. I don't need this. I don't really need that. But it's still hard. There's a lot of differences naturally between living on an island and being back in the US. Over here, you can pretty much get whatever you want and at cheaper prices. So if you don't have a lot of self-control, you end up buying a lot of stuff you don't really need. Whereas if you live on an island like Eleuthera, you may want different things and such, but you can't get them. You just don't drive to a store and say, oh, I'm going to pick up this, or have Amazon second day ship it to you. It's just not available. And that's why when Bahamians go over to the US and they go to places like Walmart or grocery stores or Costco's, they just go crazy spending because the prices are so much cheaper and it's so much easier to get than they have the opportunities for. All the things that we take for granted over here, being able to get whatever food you want, whenever you want, at what is considered high prices here, which would be cheap prices there, they look at as being total luxuries. And when they get here, they just go crazy with buying stuff. As much as they can possibly afford to buy and ship back to the island and pay customs and duty and everything else on it. I'm not sure that makes it any better or worse. I mean, if you had the opportunity to buy a whole bunch of junk you don't need really, you're probably better off not having the opportunity to buy it. Then the temptation is sort of taken out of your hands. The other thing here is that everything's open all the time. Today's the 4th of July, which should be a holiday, is somewhat of a holiday, but yet here it is 9:05 in the morning, and I just went to the grocery store to buy some pale ale beer for Tyler, who will be coming over, and you can pretty much get whatever you want anytime. On Eleuthera, on holidays, they've started opening up some stores till noon, some till 3, some not at all. And that's a new development. When we first went to Eleuthera, if it was a holiday, you didn't have a chance to get anything. You couldn't get gas, you couldn't get food. Everything was closed, period. And back to Maine. As you can see, not too much traffic. I'm sure if we were on the Maine Turnpike today, heading north, there'd probably be a ton of people coming, or maybe they've already come. I think a couple weeks ago, I had read somewhere that one weekend, 900,000 people had come up to Maine from out of state just for the weekend. Buzzing with activity. No shortage of bees here.